They told you confidence was loud. They lied. The most dangerous man in any room is not the one speaking. It's the one who doesn't need to. This isn't charisma. It's control. The kind that doesn't entertain. The kind that doesn't explain. The kind that rewires how people perceive you without you saying a word. You are not here to be liked. You are here to be felt. And what they feel, they cannot forget. This is not confidence for extroverts. This is dark confidence for the invisible predator, the observer, the thinker, the quiet force that rearranges the room without moving an inch. You don't need to be loud. You need to be calculated. And tonight, that begins. But be warned, this video doesn't teach you how to fit in. It shows you how to become unignorable, cold, quiet, confident, stay or disappear with the rest. Tactic 1, the silent stare protocol. You walk into a room full of loud personalities, voices battling for space, egos performing for attention. You say nothing. You sit still, but your eyes scan like a weapon. You speak only when required, short, final, precise. People start whispering. Who is that? Not because of what you said, but because of what you didn't. Execution. When entering any room, pause at the door for 2 seconds. Let them feel your presence before your voice. Make deliberate, slow eye contact with individuals. Hold it 1 second longer than what's comfortable. Do not speak first. Do not break silences. Wait. If someone addresses you, respond in clipped phrases. Not rude, not friendly, controlled. Blink less, move less. Breathe steady. Let tension fill the air around you like smoke. The isolation effect. When you act differently in a social space, especially with less noise, the brain flags you as important or dangerous. Mirroring collapse. Others can't read you, so they begin mirroring you. This switches the dominant energy flow, ego dissonance. Loud personalities aren't challenged by louder ones. They're destabilized by the still observer. You represent the unknown, and the unknown dominates attention. People will project whatever they fear or desire most onto your silence. To some, you'll seem powerful, to others, arrogant, and to a few, dangerously magnetic. Use with awareness. Prolonged silence can attract the wrong obsessions. This is not about being quiet. This is about using stillness as a weapon. Control the noise by refusing to join it. Make your presence louder than their performance. Tactic 2. The reverse exposure effect. You're in a one-on-one conversation. The person across from you feels in control. They're louder, more open, more expressive. You let them lead. You let them speak. You let them feel safe. Then you reveal one subtle, personal truth. I don't trust easily. But you say it without emotion. No eye shift, no sigh, just data. They pause. Their confidence wavers. They lean in. And just like that, you've shifted the dynamic. You've become the mystery they want to solve, the person they want to earn. Execution. Choose one core personal truth that feels real but controlled. It could be emotional pain, a private belief, or a guarded opinion. Deliver it once in conversation, without build-up, explanation, or follow-up. Say it as if you're reading a file. Do not check their reaction. Do not fill silence. Let the tension breathe. When they respond emotionally, mirror nothing. Hold your baseline. Shift the conversation back to them instantly. Anyway, what were you saying about your last job? This reversal flips your emotional openness into psychological control. They feel seen, but they cannot see you. The reverse exposure effect. When you reveal a vulnerable truth without emotion, you short-circuit the listener's expectations. They expect connection. What they get is tension. That tension creates fascination. Controlled vulnerability, unlike typical confidence which avoids exposure, dark confidence weaponizes it. The trick isn't to be invulnerable. It's to control when and how you're seen. Cognitive dissonance. When someone expresses vulnerability without needing validation, the listener becomes psychologically off balance. They're drawn to restore balance, and you become the center of gravity. If overused, this tactic creates emotional addiction in others. They'll chase your validation, obsess over getting through. But you weren't trying to connect. You were commanding the stage from the shadows. This is not transparency. It's controlled leakage, a drip of blood in a shark tank. Let them smell it. Never let them feed. Tactic 3. The precision silence method. You're in a group setting, a meeting, a table, a room of noise. Someone asks your opinion. All eyes turn. You don't rush. You don't shrink. You hold silence just long enough to break their rhythm. Then, calmly, you speak with 10 words or less. Their minds fill the gaps. Their respect spikes. You didn't just speak. You orchestrated anticipation. Execution. Begin practicing delayed response. When spoken to, wait 2 full seconds before you reply. Let discomfort bloom. Lower your vocal range by 10–15%. Speak slowly, controlled. Say only what is necessary. Never explain. Never soften. Maintain eye contact. Unbroken. When others speak, respond with nods, not filler. If challenged or questioned, return silence. Let them break first. End key phrases with downward tonality. Never rise at the end. Never sound unsure. Example: they ask, "Don't you think that's risky?" You answer, "Sometimes risk is the only strategy." Then silence. Silence disorients. People are trained to fear gaps. When you don't fill space, they project meaning. The isolation effect. What stands out is remembered. When you speak rarely but with intensity, your words hit harder. Authority anchoring. Those who don't rush, don't over-explain, and don't seek approval signal high status. Most people speak to prove they exist. You exist before you speak. This tactic creates distance. The room may respect you, but they'll also fear misstepping. If you crave connection, don't use this. But if you want control without saying a word, welcome to the shadows. This is not charisma. This is command presence, built in silence, delivered in doses. Remember, loud voices speak, quiet ones reshape the room. Tactic 4. The mirror deprivation effect. You're with someone who relies on validation. Every room they enter, they expect nods, smiles, mirroring energy. You give them nothing. No agreement. No visible rejection. Just calm, unbothered neutrality. They begin second-guessing every word they say, every movement, every laugh. They don't feel seen, and it destroys them. Execution: maintain eye contact, but do not react emotionally to their energy. Don't mirror gestures, tones, or emotional shifts. Stay grounded. Ask blunt, neutral questions. Why do you think that is? Then go silent. Avoid nodding, smiling, or reassuring gestures. Let them spiral in uncertainty. When they attempt to recover through humor, charm, or empathy, acknowledge with silence or a still face. When they finally ask, "Are you okay? Did I say something wrong?" That's your sign. Humans subconsciously crave confirmation of their identity through mirroring. Removing it creates cognitive discomfort. Ego destabilization begins. The person questions their social standing, likability, even self-worth. It initiates learned self-surveillance. They start overanalyzing themselves, trying to match you. Warning: used repeatedly, this creates dependence. People will chase your approval like a drug, especially if they crave affirmation. This isn't connection. It's psychological dominance. You're not giving comfort. You're becoming the mirror they can't see into. Tactic 5. Controlled emotional leakage. You're in a conversation that feels too surface, too casual. Everyone's posturing. You want control, so you break pattern. You drop one line. "Yeah, I've buried parts of myself just to survive." Then you sip your drink like it meant nothing. The room stiffens. Someone leans in. You just took control. Execution. Identify a controlled emotional truth. Something real, but already processed. Use it once. Drop it mid-conversation. Don't elaborate. Don't soften it. Let it hang. After the silence, shift back to normal talk immediately. This creates whiplash. People are pulled in. Now you set the tempo. This exploits the isolation effect. What stands out gets remembered. Controlled vulnerability contrasts the usual noise. It pierces through. It triggers emotional asymmetry. They feel exposed. You don't. That's power. Warning: if faked, it will backfire. Humans detect inauthenticity fast. Use only truths you've conquered, not wounds you're still bleeding from, or you'll end up needing what was meant to manipulate. Tactic 6. Conversational starvation. Everyone talks. You watch. They notice your stillness. They wait for you to speak. You don't. They ask for your opinion. You say, "It's not about being right. It's about seeing deeper." Then silence again. Now the whole room is anchored to your silence. Execution. In conversations, hold back. Let others dominate. Observe. Only speak when asked or when the moment demands wait. Say less than needed. Speak in sharp contrasts, paradoxes, or implications. End your contributions with silence. Never over-explain. Triggers scarcity bias. The less of something, the more valuable it appears. Installs anticipation conditioning. People listen harder when they expect insight. creates perception asymmetry. Others feel heard, you remain untouched. That's elite warning. Don't confuse this with being quiet out of fear. This is calculated starvation. If you don't have something weaponized to say, keep the blade sheathed. But when you draw it, make sure it cuts.